Good day, folks, and welcome back to Ed's Garage at Merton Hyundai. Today is something very special to show you, the Polaris Slingshot. Check this out, a three-wheel vehicle, two wheels in the front, one in the back. Pretty excited to go over this vehicle with you and show you all the cool little features that it has. Well, the lack thereof. But also take this vehicle for a spin and show you just how much fun it is to drive. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with features first, then we'll go for a drive. And yeah, I'll give it a quick evaluation at the end. All right, check it out. So on the front of the vehicle, you do have projector headlights and high beams. They are a halogen bulb. And just look at how open this thing. I don't even know where to start. It's just so bizarre and unique. Now, a vehicle from Polaris, this is probably the only road-faring vehicle that Polaris makes. But yeah, it doesn't have a lot to talk about as far as, you know, features go, but man, look at that design. How crazy and unique is that? All right, now this vehicle is powered by a 2.4 liter GM Ecotec engine. It's putting out 175 horsepower, which doesn't seem like a lot until you understand that this thing only weighs 1,750 pounds. Do the math, that's a pretty crazy power to weight ratio. 0 to 60 miles an hour in about 4.5 seconds, and man, is it a hell of a lot of fun to drive. Let's check out under the hood. All right, so there is that Ecotec variable valve timing engine. Now, we've got a cold air intake on this one, which is kind of cool. You can see the suspension from here. Very, very unique way that the hood opens up. Basically, the lights actually need to be affixed by law, but when you open up the hood, it actually covers up the lights anyway, so kind of weird that way. Pretty easy to access everything. Not too much to talk about here. It's not turbocharged, it's not supercharged. Doesn't need to be. It's a lot of power for a very light vehicle. It's pretty cool to be able to see everything under there though, like the suspension components and the steering. Very cool. All right, moving on to the side of the vehicle. No doors. Moving on to the back of the vehicle. Like I said, one singular tire. Now this one actually has a wider tire than what would normally come from factory. Let's have a look here. It's 305 30 20. Wow. The 20-inch rim, 305 30. That is a crazy wide tire. On this side here, you can actually see the drive belt going to the rear wheel. Now the owners actually installed some LED lighting. I'll see if I can find some video of that for you. All right, let's check out the inside. All right, so I use the term inside very lightly, but anyway, inside the Polaris, we can see we got a Sparco steering wheel, and it's actually like a rubberized cover Sparco shifter. Even the seats, they're sort of a rubberized material as well. I have no idea what it is, but everything in here, of course, needs to be waterproof in the event that it starts to rain. So even the screen, all the buttons and everything are designed to get wet, which is pretty cool and obviously makes sense. You can see the roll bar down the left side here, comes up along and all the way over to the back here. Now this particular vehicle has the seatbelts mounted on the opposite side, so when you want to put on your driver's seatbelt, you got to pull it from the right, because there's just not a lot over here for your shoulder strap. All right, so it is tilt steering. I found this kind of interesting though. When you tilt the steering, it actually moves the instrument cluster as well. You got your tachometer and your speedometer there. Now, speedometer goes up to 220 kilometers an hour, and quite frankly, it probably gets that high pretty easily. Down in the floor, you can see we've got metal pedals, so that's kind of nice. Obviously, this is a manual transmission, the way it should be. On the left-hand side, you can see we've actually got cruise control. Now, one thing I will say is that shift or that turn signal stalk is really far away. So if you're expecting to be able to quickly turn your turn signal on, you got to really stretch out your hand to get to that turn signal. All right, in the center here we have what looks to be a 7, maybe an 8-inch screen, probably 7.5 actually. It almost looks somewhere in between. What's really cool is when you turn it on, you get this really cool sort of boot up graphic. Very cool. Now on the screen we do have a few cool options. For one, it does have navigation. The navigation screen is actually pretty easy to use. It's actually very responsive. It looks really good. Even in the sun, you can still see the screen. It's even got a backup camera. We've got drive information, so you got your coolant temperature, voltage, engine hours, and stuff like that. This particular button right here basically goes through kind of like it's almost like a multi-home screen menu system. So there's your Bluetooth connections. It's picking up the owner's Bluetooth phone. You got your phone menu there, music menu, volume, and then power just shuts it off. So not too much going on there, but it's all you really need. Really cool start-stop button. So to start this vehicle is kind of interesting. You turn the key to the on position, and then of course your feet on the clutch and brake, and then you press the start button. Down here you've got controls for your lighting. Of course, you can enable and disable the traction and stability control, and then you got your hazard switch there, right in front of the indicator of how many gears you got. So 5-speed with a reverse, of course. Lots of room in this glove box. Check this out. It's actually a huge glove box, and inside the glove box you got your 12-volt power outlet and a USB port as well. That USB port obviously does interface with the stereo, and the stereo is made by Rockford Fosgate. Check it out. All right, I don't know about you guys, but there's not a lot to talk about in here, so let's take it for a spin. Visceral experience. I hope you can hear me okay. There's probably a lot of wind noise. But yeah, you're right out in the open. You've got the air hitting you in the forehead. If it's a cold day, you're gonna notice. Takes off like a rocket. So that little 175 horsepower Ecotec engine, I mean, it's getting up to 100K in about 4.5 seconds. It's quite quick. This is the perfect day for a drive like this. The perfect day to take out the Polaris Slingshot. So one of the things you notice right away when getting into this vehicle is that the windscreen is almost useless. You can't see through it, and you're still getting beaten in the head by bugs. Thankfully, I haven't had any bugs hit me yet. Oh, jeez! Right there! Right when I said it! Boom! Right in the forehead! Ah! Oh, holy cow! That was a 90-kilometer-an-hour bug! The handling characteristics are very unusual. Having that single tire on the back means it's super easy to break out the rear end. Doesn't take a lot. Now, I promised Manny that I wouldn't give it too much beans. I don't want to wreck his Slingshot. I don't want to burn through the tire. Even though back there, just on that little bit of acceleration, which was far less than this vehicle is capable of, I already broke the tire loose, and that wasn't my intention. But it doesn't take much when the contact patch is only this big. You know, you've only got one contact patch. It's not even two-wheel drive. It's amazing the people looking at you and waving at you when you're driving something like this. Like that guy was in a Challenger, Charger or whatever. I didn't actually get a good look, but here we go around a roundabout. Yeah, really easy to kick out the back end if you're not careful. I actually really like this transmission. It's only a 5-speed, but man, it's so easy to get it into gear. You're not looking for the gear, it just kind of slots in perfectly. The funny thing about the Polaris is it's not practical. It has no roof. You can only take one passenger. There's basically no storage. Mind you, I will say it's got a really big glove box, which is good, because there's nothing going under the hood. That's where the engine is, obviously, and there's nothing going in the trunk because it doesn't exist. But man, does it put a smile on your face. It sounds pretty good. It's not the best sounding vehicle out there. I recently did a review on a McLaren GT570, which honestly sounds amazing. This kind of reminds me, and I hate to say it, I'm sorry Manny, but the sound actually reminds me of like a Polaris side-by-side. You get that sort of that mechanical, sort of visceral sound coming from the back of the vehicle. Something you're sort of used to hearing when riding sand dunes down south. But that's okay, because you're in an open cockpit, there's no doors, there's no roof, there's no windshield. That's just a whole lot of fun. This has got to be the most fun you can have in a vehicle with more than 2 wheels. Get some! Woo! This vehicle is the epitome of oversteer. If you want to learn how to handle a vehicle with oversteer, this is probably your best bet. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had fun. I know I did. Shout out to Manny for letting me borrow his awesome Polaris Slingshot. This thing was a lot of fun. Guys, if you like this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and click the bell icon for future videos as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.